Keir Starmer referred to that decision as anti-Semitic, and by inference, the people that made that decision are anti-Semites. It's an absolute disgrace. It was bullying and blackmailing more than anything else. People have clearly picked sides, not based on evidence, not based on what the public view is, but based on what they want to advance out into the public domain. You'd expect a lot of athletes to be speaking up against what's taking place, and they should really boycott even playing with Israeli football teams, in my view.
Ayoub Khan, thank you for coming in. Independent MP, Birmingham, Perry-Barr. I know this is not the it's not fantastic circumstances. You have been at the behest of extraordinary abuse, I would say, over the last week or so. This all originated from a petition that you had posted online over concerns you had about the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans playing at Aston Villa. Can you tell me about that petition and why you felt necessary to post it?
So I represent Birmingham Perry-Barr. It's a very diverse community, and we have large sections of a Muslim community, as well as Sikh, Hindu, people of faith and no faith. But it's a diverse community. But Aston, where the Aston Villa football stadium is, we have a large concentration of Muslims. And when they learned about this Maccabi match being played, and what had happened in Amsterdam, I had calls from residents, from local business people, from private hire drivers, and they were concerned, and they said that this match cannot happen, and is there anything you can do to stop it? Because we don't want to see the scenes in Amsterdam repeated in the Aston area. And so I decided to launch a petition. My petition was based on 2 points, really. I mean, I've got an ethical position on why no Israeli team should be playing in competition, but also a safety aspect. And the safety aspect was a decision made by West Midlands Police and the Safety Advisory Group. And I respect their decision, I respect their judgment, and I stand by the decision they made.
Let's take the safety aspect to start with, because you're talking there about private hire drivers. I mean, that's very interesting, because the line from Lisa Nandy, the Culture Secretary, yesterday, and the sort of prevailing line from Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has been, well, actually, I'll put that to you. Do you think that they have undermined the police in this instance?
They've gone far beyond undermining. I mean, Keir Starmer referred to that decision as anti-Semitic, and by inference, the people that made that decision are anti-Semites. It's an absolute disgrace for a Prime Minister to undermine West Midlands Police and the independent, impartial experts that sit on this as a safety advisory group. The conflation is shocking.
Do you think that challenges the independence of the police?
It does. I mean, it was bullying and blackmailing more than anything else. You've got a panel of experts that have considered matters over the last few months, not just information that they have, but also intelligence, and working not just within the UK, but with Interpol and other agencies. They made that determination objectively and impartially, and to undermine West Midlands Police Force, one of the best police forces in the country, in my opinion, and the Chief Constable and the people that sat on that panel, I think was shocking from my perspective. And I think politicians, we are often told and reminded that we are not to interfere with operational matters. And that is the line that is drawn in the sand. To cross that line in the way that it has been crossed is wholly disingenuous.
I appreciate that you won't be able to tell me details of it if you have, but have you been privy to the findings of that sort of initial investigation into whether they would be able to facilitate the policing effort?
No, and once again, it's part of the operational matter which the police have to consider along with the safety advisory group. I suspect no politician other than maybe the Home Secretary would be given that information because of sensitivity. So when the officers say that there is intelligence to suggest that there's an issue in terms of safety. You've got to trust people in that senior position.
Let's talk now about the sort of the wider conversation around this. I mean, in that petition, you talked about UEFA and whether, UEFA should intervene and perhaps even halt Israeli teams from playing football at this time. Can you talk to me about why that was important to put in the petition?
My moral stance is, in fact, I'm very consistent. As a barrister, you want to uphold justice, fairness, equality. And when you see how we have dealt with, for example, Russia and Russian athletes and football teams, they've been banned because of the Ukrainian invasion. And here we have Israel, which is responsible for a genocide. You have their leaders, which are wanted by the international courts. They are essentially fugitives. I cannot understand for the life of me why politicians can't apply consistency. And now with social media and the ability to reach out to the wider audience, we can tell the public what the reality is, and they are absolutely fed up. And the polls, I mean, YouGov polls recently conducted, 42% of the British population polled support the ban. Only 28% were against it. 30% were uncertain. But I suspect after Sunday's Israeli match within Israel with Maccabi and another Israeli team, I suspect if they conducted another poll, it would show that maybe 70 or 80% would support the ban. But I suspect that's probably not relevant now that Maccabi Football Club has decided not to issue tickets.
There was an urgent question debated in the House of Commons chamber yesterday. The line from government and many MPs actually was that by banning Maccabi Tel Aviv, it was anti-Semitic because you are saying that the people of Israel, Jewish people of Israel, are being held responsible for the actions of the Israeli government. Do you think there is a distinction there?
I mean, what we had in Parliament yesterday was utter conflation from pretty much both, in fact, not just MPs from the Labour Party, Conservatives and Lib Dems. I mean, they've weaponized this whole debate around religion. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's got nothing to do with anti-Semitism. We had yesterday a group of Jewish community leaders outside the Villa Stadium stating that they wanted Maccabi fans to be banned. It's got nothing to do with religion, and yet it's been weaponized. The whole debate has been taken away, and quite disgracefully, in my opinion. But this has got everything to do with principles and morals, everything to do with safety, nothing to do with religion.
Can I talk about your personal safety? I think it is fair to say that you have experienced extraordinary, I was going to say Islamophobia, but actually as of this morning, there's now a new term for it, which I now forget. But you have been at the sort of the forefront of extraordinary abuse, I would say. So, when you are called, and I do believe one of the terms was, I'm going to use the word, anti-Semitic cunt.
Yeah, it's disgraceful, but it's. I suppose you're concerned about yourself, but more importantly, your family and children in particular. It's not nice. It's not a nice place to be at. But it's part and parcel of trying to find and fight and challenge the false narrative which gets spewed out there by certain politicians, by certain presenters. And it's been a difficult few days. I can say that openly and frankly. But it's a sad fact that you have to live with it and you have to deal with it. And so obviously the police have been quite helpful. They are investigating matters and taking any hate crime seriously. And they've given me reassurance with extra security and the ability to feel safe. But I think once you see the visceral hatred on social media, and it impacts your family more than it does you as an individual, because you can just switch off and ignore social media. But I think your family, your extended family, just through curiosity go onto social media, and they're probably a lot more hurt because they know that all you're doing is fighting for justice, doing the right thing, you're principled. And of course, the community that I serve, as I say, a very diverse community. You've got people like Kemi Badenoch, which has used the term sectarian Islamist. She knows nothing about me, nothing about the community that I serve. She knows nothing about my supporters. And it's so, condescending when you hear politicians refer to you as sectarian and Islamist when they don't know your politics, they don't know your communities.
How have Parliament acted throughout all of this? Do you feel safe when you're within the wall, like within the Palace of Westminster?
Yeah, so I do feel safe within Parliament, and I think it's. I think safety in Parliament's not an issue, to be frank. It's just simply outside of Parliament.
I want to talk about the sort of the language of the chamber yesterday. Yourself and Zara Sultana were speaking about the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, and you were talking sort of more broadly about the Israel-Gaza conflict and whether whether people who are at war should be taking part in football. And you were met with vitriol. Do you feel like you're in the minority when you're speaking about Gaza in the chamber?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the conflation, bringing religion into it, has weaponized this whole debate. And certainly in Parliament yesterday, we felt like we were in the minority. What public don't get to see is the heckling inside the chamber. And whilst you can hear parliamentarians speak clearly, some may think we're actually raising our voices. And the reason why we're doing that is because we cannot, on occasions, even hear our own selves speak because of the heckling. And that noise is kept out because you've got very focused mics which pick up what you're saying.
I will testify to that. Whenever I've sat in the press gallery, I cannot hear what is going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we felt like a minority within Parliament, but we felt like a very strong force because we all know that we are supported by the British public, and I think that's the reassurance that we want, that we are speaking on behalf of the majority, not the few minority which have obviously conflated this matter and brought religion into, when they know full well, I am confident, that most parliamentarians know that this is not nothing to do with religion.
When you say that you have the support of the British public, what do you mean by that?
So when you look at the polls, as I've said, 42% support the ban. That's more than those that don't support the ban. And when you look at what's taken place in Gaza, more than 800 athletes murdered, 350 footballers, Mr. Soleimani, 41-year-old prominent footballer, murdered whilst he was waiting for food. Eric Cantona asking for a boycott of Israeli football teams. I think when you look at those figures, you'd expect a lot of athletes to be speaking up against what's taking place, and they should really boycott even playing with Israeli football teams, in my view.
Do you agree with Zara Sultana yesterday when I am going to paraphrase, and I hope that she doesn't mind, but she essentially said that the Labour government is facilitating the genocide in Israel-Gaza? She was saying, is there anything that this government won't do to almost aid and abet Israel during this conflict? Is that something that you would agree with?
Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with her view. We still provide F-35 components, despite all of the rhetoric that you hear from Labour ministers saying that they've done so much in terms of curtailing the supply of arms. We've got politicians that offer diplomatic cover for the atrocities. Keir Starmer cannot call the atrocities a genocide, refrains from making any reference and saying that this is a matter for international courts, but yet he has been vocal about other international conflicts. And so when you look at what takes place in that chamber, people have clearly picked sides, not based on evidence, not based on what the public view is, but based on what they want to advance out into the public domain.
I suppose that some people would say that about yourself as well, though, wouldn't they?
They would, but I've got sound foundation, evidential foundation. When you, as I say, have killed more than 67,000, probably 70,000, maimed more than 100,000, when you have professional doctors, surgeons that say that children have been sniped in the head, chest, and genitals, I think the position is very clear.